Yo, this is In
Facts
Chats, and we are in our home, which is the Qube. It's London home for creators. It's for podcasters, artists, musicians, producers, all of that. It's all about recording your art and getting paid for it.
Ooh, and if you want a free month at the Qube, all you have to do is visit theqube.com, QUBE.com. You'll see that down below, and enter In Facts into the referral field, and you'll get your first month for free.
Right, cool, yeah. Sweet. Enjoy that. Bon appetit.
Let's get this shit. Let's get this shit.
Is that our theme song?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, might have to be.
Anyway, you're listening to In
Facts.
Chats.
And my name is Lemzi. That's Lemzi, the Gemini.
And me, Amelia Powers, that's Amelia P. POMD, the Pisces.
Yes, the singing contract's coming in soon.
Yeah,
get that publishing deal. Come on.
Obviously, the Unpacked version, isn't it?
The Unpacked following a really great conversation with Zacharias.
Yes, a very, very good conversation.
One that I feel a lot of people need to hear as well when it comes to publishing, being your authentic self, how you can just stand tall in any industry, going around the world and connecting with people. Like there was a lot. There was a lot. Yeah,
I really, really enjoyed that conversation. So hold tight, Zacharias. Yeah. He's going to be the guy in the room that you got to talk to when need to talk to.
The shades on.
And you'll know when he's entered the room.
Exactly. Shades on, high heels there.
Yes.
All of it.
You will know when he's entered the room. But yeah, I feel like there was not a lot. I think the things that I pulled from that, I'm acting like we didn't just have a debrief outside and we did. but I think it'd be good to kind of talk about your authentic self.
Yeah. As
like an artist, creative, and how you even find that, or I guess not even find that, return to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because 100%. I feel like ultimately we're born, and in a way we're born into a society that you learn less about the self and more about systems and others, and to the point
fit in with certain things.
And you learn to very quickly to abandon parts of yourselves 100. To get further in life. And obviously some people have to do that more than others, but life works in circles, and I feel like there's always going to be a point where you're going to have to return home.
No, do you know
what I mean?
There is. And I think the clearest example was 2020, where I think for everyone in some way, shape or form, it was a shutdown. It was a shutdown, and it was a return to self, because it's like, okay, at this point where you don't have your systems, you don't have your job, you don't have whatever you might have been using before.
Distractions.
Yeah, your general distractions.
Yeah.
Now it's just you.
Yeah.
How are you? Really?
That's
like, how are you really?
Literally.
Yeah. And for me, I remember like asking myself that question a lot in 2020 in particular, because that was a resurfacing moment for me. Like a lot of reflection had to happen around then. And in terms of authentic self, I think one of the main things that I did was strip away everything that I knew of myself, or that I'd even created for myself. So even the name Lemzi, I was like, for a moment in time, let me get rid of that.
Okay.
I didn't come up with an alternative, but I was like, why is it? What is Lemzi? What is that?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Who is that? Is that even something that I want to keep doing? Because this is I don't know if opportunity is the right word, but let's just say it's an opportunity to, if I wanted to change that, or embolden it, like double down on it. Like, is that a thing? And then if it is a thing, it's the other questions. And I think the core thing for me of the authentic self was going back to asking, what is the why? Like, why are you doing anything?
Yeah. No, it's
anything.
true.
Why are you doing it?
But just before you go off into the why, I want to ask you the who. Who like, how do
Lemzi?
if I not even who, like, who are you? How are you answering that question?
I generally say I'm a nice guy.
So
that's actually a thing that I say. I'm a nice guy.
I always find it so interesting how we phrase these sentences, like what comes before what. Okay. So you say, because some people might start off like, well, I'm a man, or I'm so you've straight off gone for a adjective? Yeah. You've gone for a descriptive word of then, I guess, the gender that you present as. So I don't know. This is such a big question that it's like, what do you put first? Because
some people will immediately go to the job title, for instance, or the thing that they do the most in life as well. And that's one thing I actually try and avoid doing, just because it's not all me. And I think who I am, it actually varies over time a lot of the time. Like, I think there's a core element to who I am, which is why I say the nice guy thing, because generally speaking, I'm a fairly nice human being, you know, fairly nice.
Yeah, you are.
Fairly nice.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I did do prior to 2020 was make Lemsy such a core part of my identity.
Right.
So like...
So is Lemsy someone different?
What I feel Lemsy represents is more like my creative, expressive self.
Right, okay.
But there's days where I'm just chilling and I'm not doing anything. But I put pressure on myself to feel like I need to do something because I need to fulfill this idea of what Lemsy's meant to achieve and that. But now at this point, it's very much like, okay, I get it. Sometimes I'm not meant to write. You know, I don't have to write anything. I don't have to record anything. I don't have to come up with ideas. It's like, just sit and chill. Watch that film on Netflix, actually. Do that. And I think accepting that that's a part of me without criticizing it or saying this is a lazy part of me or whatever. It's actually just your decompression part of yourself, or your more chilled part of yourself, or your more human part of yourself. Like,
exactly.
That's something that I've really, in the last few years, learned to accept a lot more. A lot more.
Yeah, because just the question of who are you is actually such a...
It's a big one. Because even when Zachariah said it, I was like, oh, wow. Like,
and I'll never forget... well, I don't know why I say I'll never forget. It's a big, epic thing. But that's the similar realisation that I missed. One of my favourite Grammy rappers. He's actually a Pisces and from St. Vincent. He was in jail, and then they had to do like those classes or like those workshops or just, I don't know, I've never been in jail, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, he said that he was asked in there like, who are you? And he couldn't answer the question. And he thought, fuck, then who am I? And he had to like then really find out who he was and return back to himself. And then that's when he kind of came out of jail and was like, and obviously a lot of other circumstances around that, like losing his mum, like being homeless and stuff like that. And then just really I guess just changed the gears. I was like, I'm doing this. And now he's like Mist, and I'm a massive fan of Mist. But I think it is that as well of like, and it sounds so cliche though, but that's the basic foundation. You have to know yourself. Know the self, yourself, what makes you. That's why it's interesting that you say, you know, I'm a nice guy, but I'd like to and what like
and okay, because there's a list of things.
Give me a list. Cool. Like, okay, let's just almost imagine you're in someone's like explaining you. Or someone's explaining you in another room and you're not in the room. Who are you? Like, who's Lems?
Yeah, they say, okay, this guy just about 30. They probably go for my age.
No, how are you describing you,
okay, so cool. So age would come into it. I would say, because I feel like our age or our generation represents some of our general values or even general ways of communicating. So for me, I'd say, I'm 30. I'm male, I'm a man. I describe myself a little bit, so I'd say that kind of stuff. But in terms of like characteristics and traits, that's more so when I'd be like, okay, I'm a creative. And creative in terms of like music artist, number one. But then generally I like to build new things and see new things get built. So that's creative. Right. I'd say I'm quite flexible.
Do you know, so this is interesting because I have a completely different answer if someone asked me that.
Is it?
But I don't know, I think my answer...
Like, you wouldn't say you're a creative anymore?
No, I'd start off with something like, I'm a spirit having a human experience. Okay. And I'm like a bundle of light.
But is that
joy.
You, or is that like people?
No, that's me. Like, I actually think that one thing about me that I realize is part of myself is how I make people feel. Cool. Like, I know I have an energy that can lift a room if I walk into it. Like, and I have the ability to make people feel comfortable and whatever. So I'll kind of like, if someone was like, oh, who are you? And we're asking in this big kind of like woo-ha way, I'd say like I'm a bundle of light and energy that has the power to impact other people's like feelings. And like, I'm impactful like that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? As a partner, I'm a woman. You know, I like.
But you wouldn't say that then. You wouldn't say, yeah.
I mean, but then there's certain things that just like you can just see that, but like that's a question where I can almost show you a side of me that maybe you can't see yet. Do you know what I mean? Or also what matters. Like, they're definitely
what matters to you?
Exactly. And it's like, I mean, at the same time, there's parts of my identity that do really much matter on like my life experience, like which is my heritage, my gender, my sexuality, whatever. But I think what really matters though, and this is just my perspective, is on like the effect I have on people, my impact, my legacy. I think your legacy also is how you've made people feel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think when you think of someone, it's a feeling that comes. Like, if I think of you, I think, oh yeah, I'm going to see them today. Like, it's a nice feeling. Or let's say if I bumped into a certain down the road that actually you didn't make me feel very great. I'm reminded of how you made me feel.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we ended up.
No, I'm with that because, okay, cool. So in terms of who you are then, you're more thinking, what's the impact I leave for other people as opposed to how do I describe how I look at myself? Yeah,
but I'll still even say like, you know, I'm a bundle of energy and joy. And I think that's why, for instance, when I've reflected on like difficult weeks I've had, is because I feel like I'm not honouring that energy that I have. Like essentially everything's energy. We're energy. Really, if we get into it, we are spiritual whatevers having a very human experience, and that's why sometimes we might feel a bit displaced in certain things or just too restricted or whatever. But I'd say that. I feel like I don't know, but I feel like I've also, you know, I study contemporary theatre and stuff in uni. I feel like I'm in these spaces where it's always, let's unpack everything and let's, you know, dissect that. Ooh, what does that mean to be? Okay, you know? Because really, are you 30 years old, or is that just a made up concept?
For the concept we live in.
And you're not even 30.
I'm 30. Yeah, by the time you hear this,
I know you're 30, yay!
So yeah, for the concept of time that we've provided for ourselves or agreed upon at the moment, I'm 30, But going more to your kind of view on it, with the bundle and joy. No, but I think it's interesting. I would say then, like if I was thinking of something that really describes me, it's floaty. Like I would say I'm very floaty. I'm very malleable and able to be in lots of different spaces or amongst different types of people and still feel comfortable in doing that, because some people can do it but don't feel very comfortable in doing it. And I feel like though it could be a benefit sometimes, it can also be a great detriment sometimes, because you really need to have some sort of grounding or stability. And that's why, like, even when I think who am I always think flawed is one thing, but naturally, we, you know, we all have something that we could see as a pro or a con kind of thing. But yeah, floaty is a word that comes to me a lot.
And okay, so if you had to describe yourself as a feeling, what would you describe? And the thing is, I know we change as humans.
Exactly.
Okay, at this particular stage of your life right now, if you could describe yourself as a feeling, what would that feeling be?
Is calm a feeling?
Yeah,
I'm calm.
Okay.
I'm calm. I feel like that's one of my things as well. I feel like I can always make things a little bit more tranquil or slowed down or just a bit cooler and calmer, and I think that's one thing that I do. Okay,
another question. A colour.
Oh, that changes a lot, you know.
Right now,
light blue, like sky blue kind of thing.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Why?
I think that just represents how I see sky blue as better days kind of thing, and I feel like that's what's coming, better days. Maybe it's also because we're in this time of the year, so I'm actually seeing blue skies and stuff, but I also just resonate with it so much. Like when it's sunny, and I think spring's so important because it shows you the mix. Like one day it's crap and it's grey or it's raining, then the next it's sunny and blue skies. When it's a blue sky and I start my day, it's totally different. Totally different. I'm a person of the sun. Like I know it.
You're a summer baby anyway.
Technically spring, you know.
Oh, is it June, spring?
Until technically the 21st of June. That's the summer equinox, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So technically I'm a spring baby. But it's usually sunny.
Yeah.
Or at least the blue, like it's usually a blue sky, and I feel like when I see and feel that, I'm calmer and I feel more prepared to do stuff. So yeah, I need to leave this country, man.
Listen, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, but no, like
okay.
I would say my color right now, sky blue. What about yours?
I feel like, I don't know whether it's because the color I'm wearing, but I do kind of feel like this color.
Yeah, like
right
is that lilac?
Like it's like a lilac, yeah. But it's like a playful purple, like, cause you know purple you could get really dark purple.
Like strong.
Yeah, this is like a very almost like pastel purple, and I don't know. I just kind of feel quite playful right now. Yeah, but I think feeling wise, which is interesting though, I feel like warm.
Okay.
I feel like, even though definitely I haven't been warm with a lot of people, but when I kind of bring myself back to myself, I remember like just how naturally happy I am. Like I've always naturally been happy and just wanting to make people feel good, and like that's what the sun does. It's warm, it makes you feel good. I'm sunshine.
You're sunshine, the bundle of light and joy.
My mum used to sing to me all the time. You are my sunshine. She always used to sing that. I'm actually a fucking ray of sunshine.
And you will have that, okay?
I am a ray of sunshine, yeah? And just like sometimes the sunshine, it has its rain. I have my rain too. Listen, that's me.
No, 100. I feel like, yeah, would you say there's a negative word that you might associate yourself with as well, if you were describing yourself?
Well, what, feeling wise, or just general, like my flaws?
Generally, like if you say, "Oh, who are you?" Because
I'm
in who you are, there's different variations, isn't it?
So definitely, I think a flaw of mine, which would easily kind of, it would also make me, where's the words? It will make it difficult for me to answer that, is I'm indecisive. So even when someone asks me that, it's like, well, how do I want to answer that? I can't even decide. Oh, because I might listen back to this podcast, come out and be like, no, that's not how I describe myself right now. But I'm definitely indecisive. However, obviously the cons to that of like in this life you need to make decisions, so you need to run with it. But I think it's because I always like to consider other aspects, and even as me as a person, I always like to consider other people's feelings too much sometimes, that I'm not even considering my own. Like even me and you've had this conversation recently where it's like I'm so self-aware in a way that I almost think that like if someone's treated me a certain way, it's down to me always. Like it's always me. Actually, no. Sometimes it's actually just them. Yeah,
it's their responsibility.
And I need to remember that. But I'm like so considerate, and I'm like always considering every other option or whatever. It's like indecisive.
You bring it back to yourself a lot. Which is a good trait, generally speaking.
But at the same time, sometimes you need to just be like, this is it, and I'm gonna commit to that. Exactly. And I'm gonna commit to that. And even like just I look at my career, just trying different things, which again, there's pros in that, like just trying different things. But then it's also like you just flapping around. Like just let me like just pick and run with it, and be more decisive and trust your decisions. Because I think also that comes into it, like, because I feel like, because I'm so self-reflective in a way that it means I'm very comfortable with questioning myself. I'm very comfortable with being like, well, was that really the best thing to do? I'm so okay with being critical with myself. Sometimes I've been too critical. So I'm learning more like self-compassion. But like, sorry, where was I? Where did I start with this?
I was asking what your maybe negative way of describing yourself might be. So definitely
like indecisive, and also emotional. I'm very emotional.
But that's not a negative.
But it can be sometimes.
In what sense?
Like again, I've also had to, which I've gotten better at, is that obviously again not taking everything personally. Like in my last few years, I've definitely I've learned that, and I don't take everything super personally now. But and I say emotional / sensitive. Because even I mentioned this to you recently as well. I am very impacted by my surroundings. And that's down to smells. That is down to like the aesthetics of somewhere. And I'm even starting to think there must be a condition where I've got a really sensitive nose. Now, honestly, Lems, because it drives me insane where I could just smell something coming from somewhere, and it's like, I asked my mom, can you smell it? She's like, no.
Yeah.
Honestly, so I'm so obsessed with smells. Again, like the aesthetics, but also just sometimes I pick up on people's vibes, and I don't even mean to sound like, oh my God, it's vibes. No, but generally, like, I could be around someone and suddenly just feel a bit different and be like, I feel already drained, and it's like I just feel I'm so sensitive. I feel like sensitive people get a negative connotation a lot of the time because it's like, oh, it's like super sensitive, like
it's a weakness or something.
Yeah, but I actually also feel like there's beauty in being sensitive as well, because I'm really feeling everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel connected to a lot of things.
100. And I'd say off the back of that, one of my ones is I'm quite blasé sometimes. So I'm almost not sensitive enough sometimes, because it's not that I don't understand the emotion or have not experienced it, but sometimes I'm just like, okay, that happened, let's move on. But that enables certain people sometimes to take the piss. Because it's like, you're not showing your emotional investment in whatever it might be. And that's why I think it's quite endearing that you are emotional / sensitive / any of these things, because I'm very feel you're quite feel but it lets people know from whatever point, this is how this thing will impact Amelia, and this is how we should or shouldn't treat this situation with Amelia. Whereas I think for myself, a lot of the time, because I can be very blasé about stuff, things just end up happening, and I end up getting into a situation where it's like, okay, we're at critical point. Now I need to demonstrate that this isn't something I'm happy with, or that I'm super happy with it. Because there's other times where good shit has happened, but I haven't allowed myself to really invest myself in it and feel like what's going on.
Okay.
And you just go through the process of doing, you've done it, and then you look back and you're like, oh yeah, that thing happened. Okay.
But I think that's also just external things as well, of like the culture in which the way we work, that is always onto the next. The goalpost is always moving, that we don't allow ourselves to celebrate our wins and celebrate these moments enough, because it's like, okay, well, what's next? And I think that's definitely not just a you thing, that's just a product of the environment and the way our culture is right now. But then also even just thinking about our upbringings, and it's interesting because like you're never really taught that much of like on expression, like you're not taught even just simple way, like children being asked, okay, if you're feeling like a color today, like just there's so many different ways to kind of firstly ask people how they're feeling, and also ask people who they are. There's so many, and this is also what creativity is about. It's a way of saying this is me. Do you know what I mean? And it's like especially if we're looking at the UK and the education system, that is just like, it's getting drummed out of you more and more and more. And even now, the avenues in which you express yourself creatively, because now it's about making money and branding and like, okay, cool, like it's almost how do you just authentically express yourself? Do you know what I mean?
It's super difficult, and that's why I feel like music, art generally speaking, to be fair, but music particularly for me anyway is so important, because from, let's say, even from grime, the early days of that, these people gave themselves a name. They all said, okay, I'm going to be called Jammer, or I'm going to be called Lethal Bizzle, and like they've decided, cool, this is the identity I'm running with, this is how I want to express it as well. Like everyone kind of had their own way of like doing music, and I think opening that for like young people, especially like us when we were growing up, just seeing that meant, this is a sick way for me to show who I am in this world. Like whether I emulate what you lot are doing, or at least can feel the essence of what you're putting across, whether it's the slang that you're using or the areas you're shouting out or whatever it is. But like that expression, or that, it's kind of like when we were speaking with Zacharias, actually, how music should be an extension of yourself more than anything, or whatever your creative outlet is. Just an extension of who you are, rather than a complete separation or removal from what you do or how you perceive the world.
Because I wanted to ask you as well, has there been a time where you have felt yourself not being yourself, like not like being your authentic self. And what did that feel like, and what did you do about it?
There's bare times. Let me not even front. There's bare times.
Yeah, okay.
Really.
So give me a real, like the best example of that.
Okay, so a good example is I used to do loads of workshops and mentoring stuff in different schools, particularly across Essex and East London. And I initially started doing them for a couple of reasons. Number one was because I really wanted to like be out there and connect with people in my local community, because it all started in Waltham Forest. Number two is because I always held the value of, when I used to love a lot of the music that I used to love and I really held on to it, people would always say, that's crap, why are you listening to that? Until it got to the point of, you know, global success and stuff. And I was like, I really want somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, to tell other young people,
it's okay.
Yeah, hold on to that thing that you really value. And so that's another reason. And the third reason was, it was decent pay. I was like, oh damn, I didn't even know this was a thing you could get paid for. But once I started establishing myself, I was like, okay, this works quite well. The thing, I think what happened though was, as I started getting asked to do it more and more and more, some of those values started going, and I was asked to be in. It ended up being like my job essentially at one point, where I was in, just driving around on the motorway to get to this school out in Essex one day, then this school and wherever in the next day, and then back to Essex for another day. And I just remember thinking, why am I actually doing this now? Because the whole giving the initiative to young people to like hold on to this thing that you really value, cool, you've shown them that, but you keep going back. And I was like, why am I actually going back to this school or this institute or whatever it was? And I just like, do you know what, I'm doing this because I'm getting paid now. And that's not really what I want to do. I want to do music more than anything, and I want to do other things. Like, as I said, because I'm floaty, I like changing it up here and there. But as soon as it became like, every day you're doing this, I felt like all of a sudden I was set into this structure, and it was because I was getting money, as opposed to because I really felt fulfillment from what I was doing. So I ended up just leaving. Like, I ended up leaving all of them behind. Like, I said to, because I was at like 4 or 5 different schools at one point, and I just said, guys, I have to go. I'm sorry, like, I have to leave this. I left the Essex ones first. I said, because that was connected with Essex County Council, so I was like, guys, I'm not renewing my contract. Like, thank you, but I'm good. And then with Waltham Forest, it was more like one school at a time. I kind of like disappear. But it was one of those where it's like, I knew I had to make a change. I knew I had to do something differently, because if I didn't, I would get stuck in this monotonous cycle of just doing, because I feel like I'm meant to be doing this, and it's not really serving anyone. Like, by the time I was ready to leave, I think the young people could tell, like, okay, this wasn't like the beginning, innit? Like,
you're not really here like that. Not, you weren't bringing your authentic self. You were abandoning some parts of yourself.
And it wasn't serving me or these kids well enough, man. So that's why I stopped doing it for time. And I'd go back to doing workshops, but it'd be like
on your
spot
terms.
moments.
And
exactly.
Rather more than, on your terms that works for you.
What I am going to be providing for these. Rather than, hey guys, I'm here, it's Tuesday. What are we doing? That's dead. That was so dead. But
my authentic self needs to go to the toilet. So
okay. Okay. And then we'll just jump back in, innit?
Are you editing this one?
I hope not.
Are you? How's it going?
I hope not.
The Divya one.
It's going. Let's see.
Is it ready for tomorrow?
It will be.
Oh, is that why you can't come later?
It'll be ready.
Okay, authentic self. Well, I had to honour myself there and be like, I'm not going to pretend that I don't need to go to the toilet. So you
feel good now? How are you really?
Yeah, I do. Who are you really? But I feel like for me, I can always tell when I'm not being my authentic self, when I start to get irritated very easily. And my patience is very thin. And So I can be dramatic. Like I could just decide to be like, no, I'm over this. Especially if you're asking me now to care about something that I don't care about. But I get more frustrated because it's like I am now neglecting my needs for your needs. Yeah. And I have actually not come to do that today, because actually if anyone's needs that I need to be taken care of is mine first and foremost. So for me to show up as my authentic self, I need to make sure I'm good.
Yeah.
And they will start from there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
How do you go about ensuring that happens when there are such obvious things that people prescribe by? So for instance, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, you go to work, you get your 2 days on a weekend. Like, just as a basic thing. Yeah, exactly.
Already, I'm not being my authentic self, because what if I want to have a weekend in the middle of the week?
Yeah, what if your 2 days are meant to be that?
Exactly. What if my best day is Wednesday?
Facts.
And I can't live it to the fullest? What if I actually am more creative at night?
Yeah, how do you do anything about
that? What, in general?
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard.
You need money.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
Do you know what it is? I think it's about, well, kind of like what your top says today, isn't it? Because that whole notion, how do you pronounce it? Ikigai, yeah. Because that whole isn't it like the idea of finding something that society or your community needs, finding something that can make you money, and finding something that you love, and it's that in between.
That's when you get ikigais.
Yeah.
Your vocation, your mission, your vision, and your job. It's your profession. That's it. Profession. Yeah.
And I think it is about finding that. It's about, okay, what puts fire into my belly? What do I really love doing? Yeah. And how can I get paid for that?
Exactly. Literally. How do I flip the shit that I'm good at?
But then also, and then I'll be so good at it that I can literally make it on my terms, do it on my terms. Like, you're not going to tell me how I'm going to do my job. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it and how you're going to get the best out of me. Because I think we've even spoken about this before, and just workspaces, they need to also make sure you're getting the best out of the people working for you as well. And that is about them showing up as their authentic self. I'm getting deja vu because I really feel like this is, like we've spoken about this. But I think it's that, but I think it's also you kind of thinking to yourself again, and maybe you just going back to your core values of like what's really important to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What is an ideal space for you to be in that allows you to turn up as your authentic self? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it is that reverse engineering.
Yeah.
What do I actually want? So then it's not even a thing of, I don't feel good, I'm going to complain and make it difficult for everyone else. It's like, okay, cool, you don't feel good, you're irritated, or you want to change things. So what do you want? And like having that honest conversation with the self as well. That's one thing that I think once I usually have that, that's when I'm like, okay, now I see, and this is whatever I'm currently doing does not match it. Now I need to have that conversation with someone.
And there's some things that are unfortunately out of your power.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of things that it's like you were kind of saying to me recently when you gave me solutions that I didn't ask because I just wanted to vent.
Shut up,
but those you can't focus on those. It's like, what can I control? And sometimes actually you might not be doing the best that you can do to allow yourself to be your authentic self. So I even know for me, there's a difference in Amelia when she's had 8 hours sleep and when she's had 3 hours sleep. So already you're not going to be yourself, your authentic self, if you're going off a 3 hours sleep. And if that means because you were out the night before being your authentic self, then what? Sometimes, okay, no, Amelia, you know what works good. You know what works for you, and sometimes you're actually just not even doing.
And you're just there, kind of thing. You're a shell, innit? And I think, I don't know how to not make people, but help people see that, cool, let's just say it was the night before and you had 3 hours sleep. Obviously it's self-inflicted, but if that means that one day, let's call it a Monday, is going to be shoddy, it's like, cool, when I come to Tuesday and I'm properly ready, I'm going to shell it. It's going to be double. So don't worry about the fact that Monday's not good, because Tuesday, Wednesday, for whatever is going to be sick.
But also it's just having that compassion for yourself again, just to be like, okay, that's fine, cool, you've only had 3 hours sleep, then we're going to do this, we're going to do what we can today. Do you know what I mean? We're going to do what we can. But like, to go back to like, because then even I guess actually what would be useful for us to even establish is what is showing up as your authentic self. Like what does it mean for you to physically go to a place and you are being 100% truthful to yourself? What is that?
I think that comes down to, because it, as I said at the beginning, like there's different elements of who I am as a person, and depending on where I'm going or what the environment is will also depend on how I want to be in that space. So there's times where I want to be very communicative or very showy or extroverted, if you want. Yeah, like I want people to notice what I'm doing. Let's just say it's a performance, for instance. It's like I want to make sure people notice, respect, engage with what I'm presenting to them, kind of thing. And I think knowing that that's my intention, that's the main thing. And if I keep honest with that and I like push that as my thing, I think that's how I know, all right, cool, this is me being my authentic self right now. Or if it's a situation where I don't really want to talk to anybody, which also happens
sometimes,
are you willing and able to separate yourself from people, or even just politely say, you know what, I don't really feel like chatting right now, I'm just gonna go over here, like, which is also something recently I've been adopting more, where it's like, all right guys, I'm gonna go downstairs and just have 20 minutes. Like, so honestly, that's what I do now.
Don't chat to me.
I'm just gonna have 20 minutes. I'll be downstairs, or literally just take myself downstairs without seeking the permission to do so. It's like,
that's another big
it's like, I'm going here, you know where I'm at if you need me for anything. It's not like I've run away or anything, but even that, just really being honest with, and I think that's why the emotional sensitive thing is important, because feelings are the things that help you understand where you're at that moment in time. Like obviously we can think about it and just control our thoughts in some way around how you feel, but when you feel it, it's like, oh, I actually don't want to talk to anyone. Okay, cool, now let me think, how can I go about making sure I can put myself in a good enough position where that doesn't need to happen. But yeah, I think it's because it varies. It's hard to say exactly what it is, but it's just being honest with yourself. Yeah,
because it's interesting how you've answered that now and how I would answer it. So firstly, actually, one thing I wanted to say, that you said like feelings, obviously, like they help us kind of show where we're at, or like how we feel, or just how we are. But I think, because if you think about our five senses, that's like our smell, our touch, our taste, our hearing, and our eyesight. But I actually think there's a sixth sense. Oh my god, is that why it's called the sixth sense?
Oh my god. No way, are you joking?
Is that why it's called the sixth sense? No, is that actually, I just had a is that
you
why
actually, what, where have you been? What the heck?
Wait a minute, is that why like your gut feeling is called like the sixth sense?
Yes.
I didn't know that, Lems.
Wow.
I just thought people would say sixth sense. I didn't know. Oh,
and you just deeped it now.
No, remember I did say to you outside, I don't know if I'm dumb now. But okay, yeah, well, everyone knows I'm late to this party. But yeah, there's your sixth sense. That is
someone's listening who's like, oh my god.
I know it. It's like, oh my god, I'm gonna leave that. Yeah, there's your sixth sense basically, which is your gut feeling, bitch. Anyway, so me turning up to authentic self is me dressing how I want to dress. That I feel like represents the mood that I'm in, because I like my fashion. I see that as an extension of me. I think it's that's how I want to present myself in the world. And I know that there's some people that don't necessarily care about fashion. They kind of think, oh, you should just be able to chuck on whatever and whatever. No, I tried to subscribe to that for a little while. Like, oh, let me just chuck on some clothes and go to a cafe and do work. It doesn't work. Like, it really directly impacts how I feel about myself. Like, same way, if I'm gonna put on makeup, I'm gonna do my hair, I'm gonna put on some nice clothes, I'm gonna smell fucking good. I'm gonna walk into that room like I am here. I'm here.
I've arrived.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel when I like, I'm Amelia. Like Amelia's here right now, and I feel proud to be in that space. And yeah, I feel like that would be me. And also talking exactly how I talk, no code switching shit. Like, just me walking into a room and feeling like I belong there. And if I don't, you're gonna know why I belong here. Like there's a reason why I'm here, as opposed to like having imposter syndrome and thinking like, oh God, why am I here? No, there's sometimes I'll just think, no, I think sometimes it's that question you got to ask yourself, like, do you know who I am? Like, do you know who I am? Like, I am. Yeah, I am Amelia. I deserve to be here. Like, I think that's an aspect of, well, for me, of like turning up as my authentic self, or just remembering my purpose of why I'm in that space. And it changes, I guess, for why you are there. Like whether whether I'm coming as a radio presenter in the space, whether I'm coming as someone to talk about diversity in a workspace, whether I'm coming to talk about healthy relationships. It's also, I guess, it goes down to the why am I here? And because even you have different versions of the self, I do find. Like I'm one way with you, I'm gonna be a different way with my mum. I'm gonna be a different way, and I think that also comes down to the connection that we have to the person, the reason why we're there. Because even like with my brother, I'm definitely another version of myself, because I almost see myself as more like a guardian to him. Like it's like I feel like everything I say there needs to be a lesson. Everything I say, like it's always teaching mode, but I know he's listening. So I'm also very conscious of what I say, because I might even say something very flippant and I think, oh no, let me actually explain that so he doesn't take that as like face value. Let me be whatever. Whereas with my mum, I'm a whole different other version of myself. When I'm with you, I mean, it's not like I have just different personalities, even though, I mean, to an extent,
all aspects of you still.
Yeah, exactly, it's all aspects. And I think, I guess in a way, maybe you kind of revisit yourself when you walk into a room where you don't know anyone and you don't know the environment, because then it's like the only thing you do know is yourself. And who is that? Which kind of ties onto the conversation we were having earlier about moving to another place in the world. And how, I guess when people say they're going to find themselves, maybe that's why they say that. This is another moment. Oh my God. Because you kind of remove yourself from the known to the unknown, where the only thing you know is yourself. This is some really
I
good.
can't believe it. No, but you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. And though it comes off very, very cliche, I think there are a lot of people who, if you're like born and bred here, for instance, and you haven't found that I don't know, that synergy with being here, there is that aspect or that feeling of, I need to go and find where I can get that synergy, or where I can make sure that I've removed myself enough from my environment to get more of an understanding of what it is that I want, or how I feel, or what I need, or any of these kind of things. And I feel like I'm one of those people, really and truly. I'm one of those people who, every time, I like going places where I don't know better people there. Like, I like seeing how to interact with new people. Like, I like meeting new people just to get the vibe of, okay, cool, I am being honest with myself and being true to who I am, because I'm not changing the way I talk necessarily, or I'm not like cuddling up to like one or two people just because they're the person I know. Like when we met Zacharias, for instance, I was just there. I was like, see if I know anyone. I might not, and it's fine, innit? But meeting someone like Zacharias, it's like, cool, that's now a relationship there, where it's like, here's a new person that I've met, get on very well, been on the podcast, all of this kind of stuff. And it's like allowing yourself to take that risk almost. I love that kind of stuff. I do as well, because there's definitely a few, even though I still find there's still times that I'm actually quite nervous. And I'm still a bit like, because you might go and no one talks.
Or it's like, what do you do in those?
I shouldn't be here.
Those awkward moments of like, okay, we're all supposed to just like hang around and wait for the thing to start, or it's like, because even like recently I got invited to an art exhibition, which was before the show that I was talking about, called Mary Seacole, which it's called like We Black Women.
Okay, sick.
And I need to get her name, Joan. I don't think I'll find the name. But essentially it's this black British woman that put together all these, like a photography exhibition of loads of like black British women that are just doing bits basically. but what would it look like if they got to have a chat with one of their idols that are Black British women as well? And it was just, and you could like scan the QR codes and listen to the conversations. And sick. I remember I got invited to this event, and one thing about me, if you're going to invite me, I'm going to come. So, well, if I can, but also I was like, oh wow, this looks really dope, like cool. And I remember going in there like, was going by myself already, like I've kind of amped myself up, gone in there now, picked up my ticket, whatever, gone upstairs now to like go, because it was at the Donmar warehouse, and I was just like looking around all the photos, and I recognised people, but I didn't know anyone in that space. And I'm not gonna lie, like you kind of can sometimes almost shrink a little. Like I did feel like I was a bit like, I'm in this space, I don't know anyone, am I gonna talk to anyone? And it's like, it's almost like you've got no one else to lean on. Like when when you're with someone else, it's easier to kind of network that way. But it's hard to like go into a room where you don't know anyone and like almost, it's not even like prove to people why you should know me, but I don't know, there's something in that which, I don't know, it just kind of made me feel like, oh, we've still got a little bit of way to go, Amelia, where you feel, why do you feel, I'm not gonna lie, because everywhere I was looking, I was recognizing women that I've seen on the TV, in films, like even just on my timeline, like just doing bits. And a little bit of imposter syndrome kind of entered my mind, and I guess that's an example of where maybe I've not felt like I was being my authentic self, because I was almost questioning why I was in the room. But after some glasses of champagne, I was like,
you were loose.
I was like, no, because then I bumped into the one person that I did know, who's the one who actually invited me, which I knew her from a previous job. This is why you should also be very nice to people all the time, because you never know where you're gonna bump into them again. But I remember I worked with her in like a theatre before, and then we were emailing. She basically came up to me. She was like, and I was like, oh my God, I recognise you. She was like, Amelia, I knew it was you. Like, I knew it was you. Oh my God, we used to work together. She was like, now I like work for this PR company, and I just thought, I'm just going to invite you down. And I was like, oh my God, And I think actually, after I saw her, I relaxed a little bit more. Because I think, there was that connection as to why I was in there.
And familiarity as well.
As well. But even at the same, I guess I did really think to myself, we're gonna have to work on this, Amelia. Like, why are you so shy? Like, I didn't actually, but I mean, as I got warmed up, I did start to just talk to people. And I'm happy I did, because then it's like I exchanged details, and obviously it just broadens your network. And like just the different types of people that you meet and you know. But I guess I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit you know it is, and I think with networking it is hard.
Networking's hard. It's really hard, because I'm someone who, actually before that, do you think it was more difficult because these are people who, you kind of revere in some way, like you've seen them on TV or publicly or on the timeline, etc. So it makes it more like, oh shit, there's an additional weight to me having these conversations with these people. Because you know what, I really need to work on my fangirling. Because so there was an actress there who was in sex education. I've forgotten her name. I don't really want to say her name because I just want to forget the whole thing. But like, eventually there was someone else that came that I knew of through a friend of mine who's an actress. She's like a famous actress. And then she was kind of like, oh yeah, you're such and such friend. Okay, cool. So she kind of, in a way, was like, oh, let me introduce you to people in the room. So obviously now at this point, I'm being introduced to people that I know who you are. And I got introduced to this actress, and I crumbled. Swear down.
Afterwards, I could see in her face, she was thinking, what is this girl talking about? She was like, oh, hi. And I was like, yeah, my name's Amelia. She was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I know who you are. I'll see you on the sex education. I just, what the fuck came out of my mouth? And I could even just see she was looking at me like, oh, okay, yeah, you're weird. Move on. But then also, I'm like, one, you don't need to tell people who they are. They know.
Yeah, they do. Yes, my CV is there.
But that also, one might have always just been her. But then also, it's just like, Amelia, because also there's so many I don't even really like saying celebrities, but known people that are just like, because actually I think I listened to an interview with Damson Idris, and he mentioned, he was like, I think P Diddy said to him when they were all in a room together, like, you see how you were just with me, like, cool, like, you're right. He was like, keep that when you're in these rooms. Funny how I watched that interview before, but then I was in this room like, like, I remember actually, I saw Kelechi come in the room, and I was looking, I was like, oh my god, I recognize her. I was like, I want to go over to her, I want to say, but then I just thought, just play it cool, Mina. Just like be cool. Like, I want to also give her flowers, but I'm also conscious of, again, I'm so conscious of everyone else's feelings. That I'm like, she might not be in that space where she wants to have that moment of, thank you. Because also it was a very much like, it was a space where a lot of people are on the same level in that space, where it's almost like, can we just not, like, I'm not at a fucking book signing, or do you know what I mean? So eventually, in the end I just kind of played it cool, and then I ended up I went to another event, and then there was another woman, and all the names have gone out of my head, but she's another like famous woman. No, she was in Harry Potter in the stage play in she was in Harry Potter, and now she's got like a one woman show coming up at the Donmar Theatre as well, A Doll's House. You know A Doll's House? Oh, it's like a known play, but anyway. So then I saw her at another event, and she was like, oh yeah, no, I recognize you, I remember seeing your face, and I was like, okay, this is how you do it, let me just be in the spaces all the time. But yeah, I mean, I still need to work on it, and I think it's also imposter syndrome, which I know too well sometimes. And it's like, I guess if you're looking at authentic self, ego, and imposter syndrome, is it like a triangle of like, where are you at? Do you know what I mean? Because there could be like just that your ego has just, you are just somewhere else now.
You're wrapped to
exactly. Like
right now, innit?
It's not even like you're not being your authentic self, because you're now just living for the perception of, I don't know, others. Whether there's the authentic self, which I think is like in the middle. And then maybe there's imposter syndrome. It's like, I'm not worthy.
You're running away from
I don't need
from who you are.
Yeah, I just thought I wanted a whole rant, but that was an interesting experience for me.
Cool. I feel like networking is hard.
It is.
I feel networking is very hard, because I feel the intention becomes, I'm talking to you because I almost want something from you. That's why I don't really like networking like that per se, but like one of my friends describes me as just someone who talks to anybody, like just the person who talks
I'm sure that friend is me.
Okay, you're another friend.
You do.
I do, but you know why I do quality. I always do it because I genuinely feel compelled to say something to that person at that time. Like the last time it happened was just the other day. I'm walking on my street, and there's a house that's had the front done up like ages ago, but I've always looked at this house like, sick. And I finally saw someone come out of that house, and as I'm walking, they've like maybe 2-3 steps behind me. I said to myself, I should tell him, but I was like, that might be weird. But I was like, no, fuck it, I need to tell him. So I was like, bro, I love what you've done with the front of your house. And I didn't say that hoping we'd have a conversation, but it was more just, I just want to tell you that I appreciate what you've done with this. It's made the road nicer, all of this kind of stuff. And he was like, yeah, thank you so much, do you live down here? And then from there sparked a whole conversation. This guy's like, if I was in the world of finance, I would have been so gassed, because he's a partner of 20 years at Ernst & Young, with like big company. He's done, you know, sick guy, really, really nice guy as well. But it's just that initial impetus of, I feel like I should say this to you just because I genuinely feel this. That's how a lot of the people I end up meeting come into my life. It's like, I just need to tell you this thing, by the way, and just let you know this is how I actually feel about it.
But I think that's a great quality that you have, and I think there's a lot of people that wish that they could be like that, that just could just say, just spark up a conversation where there's no gain. Like, I'm not really trying to gain anything. Like, it's actually, no, I just want to say, yo, like, that was really dope. That was really sick. Like, I think that helps massively if you're networking, because there's also an art to it where it's like, I can tell that you're trying to just extract something from me, and it's not authentic, and I'm over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, even like when we met Zacharias, it felt really natural. It just
that
felt
was just like two people just chatting, and it's so much better for me.
Genuine. That's what I knew, like, instantly when you mentioned to him about the pod, and he was like, oh yeah, I already thought you'd be great.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, because we've already spoken. Like, we have that conversation.
Yeah,
it's like I met the people, or one of the guys who, you know, the STEM player that Kanye had. Yeah, the thing where you can isolate vocals, basically. Yeah. And I met one of those, again, very randomly. He was walking by the street. I
think you're probably one of the most random people I know.
I probably am. Yeah, but as soon as he mentioned, oh yeah, we're just down the road, we did the STEM play, I was like, bro,
yeah,
I would love to talk to you. But do you know the thing that got me about him more?
What?
When I saw he was a Spurs fan. When I clocked he was a Tottenham fan, I was like, all right, we got something to talk about. Yeah. Cool. Like, let's talk about, because there was a whole North London derby happening around the time, all of this stuff. But it was like, I appreciate that so much more because I know your character a little bit now. I can associate something with who you are rather than what you do. Yeah. And that's the stuff that enables me to be able to just talk to people sometimes, because it's like I can see little parts of people's character.
Yeah, but I think that's also an art. That's like part of the art of networking, and they say that anyway, with like, if you're going to send out emails to people, try and make it seem as not authentic, as genuine as thing. Like, so it's like, say something about like what you have, that little thing that's like in common with you or whatever. Like, by the way, I love what you're doing with this. It just feels more genuine, like it feels more personable, like oh, you're actually talking to me, like there's something about me that I know this is not just generic. Because I've definitely been in some environments where
and being on BBC now, you must get bare, hey, play this please.
Don't even get me. I even had an email the other day that was just literally a link.
No hire me, no signature at the bottom.
It was just a link. I said, you're getting it.
Was there a subject?
No.
Really?
It was just a link. And I could see it was a YouTube link, so I just thought, I know
want me to even convert this.
You are crazy. But I mean, I know it's a scary thing, and networking is a scary thing, but I think bringing it back to your authentic self, because then also there's different ways that you communicate with people, and that's also part of yourself. Like the way you're going to approach someone is different how I'm going to approach someone. And if I try to be like you now, that's not authentic. What are you doing? Like, imagine I was like, yo, I just seen the outside of your house. No, I'm joking. To be honest, that's something I probably would say to someone though, but obviously in my own way.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's something you appreciate as well.
Exactly. Like, for me, it would be more like, it's what someone's wearing, like, oh, I love your jacket, or I love your
like,
do a bit more
as well.
Do you comment people on their outfits?
I did that on Friday. I remember I was leaving work. No, while I was going to work, and I saw someone who I know who works in like a place just down the road, and they're wearing blue. But it was like a blue that popped in your face. I was like, okay, sick. And as I was walking back at like lunchtime, I saw her again. I was like, yo, I just have to tell you, this blue is doing something. It's sick. And then went about my day like, that was it.
Okay. Do you know what? I actually think to myself, when's the last time I've actually done that?
Like, just told someone how
I'm actually in work, yeah. But there's, you know, even the other day I was walking down the street and I saw this mother and daughter. And they just look really cute. No, like, literally, it was like this black girl and her mum, and they looked so similar. So I knew, obviously, mother and daughter, but also the mum looked really good. Like, she looked really good. I really want to say, you sort of look really good, you know. But I thought about it too much, and time went, and we passed, and I just thought, I should have said that, because that might have just really made your day. But speaking of, this is the same day, actually, where I was hungover. I was on my way into Westfield, and I was standing at Hackney Central Station, and then I saw this guy. He finished a bottle of Coke and he put it on the floor, and he kind of left it there like he was gonna litter, and I was just watching him do it. And before I even thought, I said to him, I was like, do you know there's bins down there, so you could pick that up and you could put it in the bin? And he was like, oh yeah. And I honestly don't know where that came from, but I actually thought, how dare you, like, there's actually bins and you're littering. I don't care that much about littering.
And the environmentalist you came out.
But I thought that, I was thinking it and then I said it, and I actually thought, wow, you were right, Amelia. But anyway,
but I think that's it, because that's one I'm not as good at.
Like, just
sometimes when I notice when something's not as good, I kind of like just let it go. Like, one of the is when I go to the toilet and someone goes and don't wash their hands in front of me.
Oh, well, you want to start being that guy?
I do be like, we just had a whole pandemic. Like, you can't even wash your hands. Like, come on.
Do you know what? I think I'm
bare minimum.
I'm good at pulling people up on that shit, to be fair. Like, or I'll just say,
I think that's good there.
The thing is, I could be more direct because I'll be a bit petty with it. Like, raw boy, we're not even washing our hands.
Because that's how I think of it in my head, where I'm like, raw, we're not doing that. And then I think, I can't say that. And by the time I should say whatever I could say, they've already gone. And I'm just there trying not to touch the door handle and shit.
I feel, and do you know what, speaking of that though, actually, because I think that does also tie into your authentic self as well, is when you've been in spaces where maybe you've seen some fuckery happen or someone said something that's like, that's fucked.
Yeah.
And there's definitely been moments where I'm like, I should have said something at the time.
Yeah.
Like I should have pulled someone. But sometimes you are kind of caught like a bit like, whoa, what's going on? And you're a bit like, okay. But I think just genuinely, like a lot of us need to work on that and just pull it, because then that's when you start to shut down stupid people's thoughts or whatever that stop people coming into spaces and being their authentic self. Like, for instance, let's think about homophobic slurs and someone just pulling that out. We need to get used to no, we're not doing that.
No, 100%.
That's fucked. Like, no, because then if you don't, that person's gonna go around thinking,
and it's validated.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like,
it can be a validation of certain things.
And being a bystander or being complicit in that, you're part of the problem as well. So how we need to also, and I think that is also because your authentic self as well, I think it's also your values and what you stand for, and what are you going to do when you're faced with someone completely going against your values. Because also a big part of it is speaking up for yourself.
No, facts.
And that again can be a frightening thing.
No,
to like to be like, actually, and the thing is, I could feel myself. Like, I've definitely been in situations, and I can't remember what the exact thing was, but I could already feel in myself someone saying some fuckery, and I'm just almost like counting in my like, I'm a bit like, I'm working myself up. But you could but you can almost feel like your heart's beating faster. You're getting almost like your fight or flight is kicking in because there's about to be some shit. I'm not, even the other day I was on the train, and there was this white mum with mixed race kids, right? And the white mum was kind of just like shouting at the kids or whatever. But there was something about her attitude, and I thought, let this woman say one fucking thing out of line. No. Because I was just like, I think I was already in that headspace where I was just thinking about race a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just kind of thought, my ears were like, ding. Do you know what I mean? But there are also, there's definitely been other times where I've been like on public transport, out in a public place, and I might hear just some off-key vibes, and I'm just a bit like, ding, because I'm going to be ready to say some shit to you. And I will be that person to be like, really? But then again, also, it is frightening because they might be a complete psychopath, and now you've put yourself in danger's way.
Position,
But I think it also comes down to integrity.
No, it does.
Like, it is courageous to also interrupt someone and be like, actually, no. That's not cool. But I know when I've walked away from situations where I haven't done that, and I felt really disappointed in myself.
The thing. Yeah, I always feel like, why did I not?
Yeah.
I might not have seen the end result. But if you just make that little interruption, sometimes that's enough. I remember one time I was with somebody, and they said, even just like, say if there's a man and a woman arguing or there's a ruckus that's going on, even just to just say, everything all right? Just so then they're aware it's not just those two people. It doesn't have to be a man and a woman, it could be whoever it is. Just so exactly, they're aware, it's actually not just us in this space. Are we operating in a way that we probably should be right here, right now, kind of thing? There was an example I had of something before that I've just forgotten. Oh yeah, the interruptions where it's necessary, because the integrity thing. Because I remember I was at the pub whenever it was, and there was a group of people who I was there with, and I'd already been with these guys for a few hours, and just next to us there was this new group of guys who came, 2 white guys and an Asian guy, I think it was. And though I'm like half in our conversation in the group that we're already in, the ear prick thing happened, innit? Where it's like, I keep hearing things that are making me feel like I'm sure you're not saying what I think you're saying. Because it was all stuff on race and racism and how almost making the non-white person feel like his position might be invalid. That's what I felt like I was hearing.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, guys, look, I'm so sorry, innit? But I just have to make sure like what you lot are saying isn't what I genuinely think it is, because if it is, that's not just a problem for him, that's going to be a problem for me and other people that I'm even here with. So what's going on in it?
And what was the sitch?
It wasn't what I thought it was.
Okay, but what was it?
Generally, like what I remember is that we all ended up having some not all, like it was me and then these guys. I think the rest of the people I was with carried on their own conversation, but yeah, we just spoke about the diaspora, spoke about race, we spoke about a lot of stuff, because it lasted like an hour or something, me and these guys just having this conversation. But it all ended in like, oh no, it's really good that we've had this conversation. Shake hands, go about your business, I'll go about mine, kind of thing. It wasn't at all aggressive or a problem, but it was just that earring of like, yo, this can't be actually what I'm hearing right now. Like, because not now, not here, not when I'm around. Have to say something at this point.
Exactly. Sorry, I'm googling an artist's name because I want to make sure I say their name right. Yeah. So yes, because even on that, right, there's a whole play called Burgers, and it's by a non-binary artist called Travis Alabanza, and actually the reason why I came across them was at Hackney Showroom. I have to big up Hackney Showroom because I learned so much working at that place, especially around like non-binary identity, like so much that I would have never been exposed to ever, because I was born as a woman and I'm very much comfortable to be identified as a woman, but just so much around this I just didn't understand, and it's even like trans like experiences and all that I didn't understand. So Travis has got this play called Burgers, which is all about a real life experience when they were walking down the road and someone chucked a burger at them, and it was more about the bystanders, that just no one did anything about it, and just the pain in that as well. And I remember watching it thinking, yeah, I need to be more on form. Like when I see some fuckery, like it's not a case of it's got nothing to do with me. Why do you, the person chucking that, think that that's okay? And I remember ever since then, I proper made like I got really conscious of like if I'm ever on public transport and I see someone maybe come on dressed in a certain way that maybe goes against the kind of the norm, or like how you're supposed to dress or whatever, or if I don't know, if a trans person walks on or whatever, that I already kind of feel a bit like, I don't know, there's something in me that's like,
be on the defensive.
I almost want to be like, just know no one's gonna say some shit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm with you,
this person's come on and there's again, it's like not even courage, but like you are dressing exactly how you fucking want to dress. And for some people, like what Zacharias was saying, it's you're making other people feel uncomfortable, and that's a them problem. But then people would want to take it out on you. So then me as a bystander or someone in that environment, what can I do to make sure you shut your fucking mouth and let them just be who they are, because they're not actually troubling anyone. And I've never been in that environment anyway where anything like that's happened, but I've always felt a bit like, firstly I'm like, go you, yes, come on with your heels and whatever and your makeup and whatever, come on and do your thing, but I hope no one feels almost entitled to act a certain way now. Because also, if we're really honest, like a lot of trans people, they're the ones in real serious danger, because this notion of like just dehumanizing trans people, like they don't deserve any respect now, because it's like almost like, ooh, why are you dressing like this? It's mad. And I feel like there's so much as a community, as a wider society, that we can do to enable safe spaces, but also to show that no, we're not going to allow you to act like a fucking idiot and start being harmful or making people feel uncomfortable, because basically you feel uncomfortable. That's what it is. Because I don't feel no way. Come and be yourself. Cool. All right. We're all sitting on the fucking central line going wherever, love. Everyone's got their own life. Why do you feel like you have to open your mouth and say some shit? And nonsense like them, it's always a certain type of person. He's like a bigot, if we're honest. Like you've probably got so many views that go against so many other people that you just basically only care about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I've not had to flex any of those yet where I've had to be like, excuse me, even though you have seen me on certain nights out where, especially when it's security guard. Remember that time we were out and I went off for that security guard because he was just fucking rude. Like he decided to get personal about a woman's weight. Yeah, I just thought, fuck right off with that.
Yeah.
There was no need to. Nah, don't get me started. I told you I've got a temper. Don't
let Amelia drive.
No,
the road rage will be different.
But also, don't. Yeah, just don't be discriminatory to someone that's got fucking nothing to do with you. Minding your own fucking business, and because it makes you feel uncomfortable. Basically,
yeah.
What is that person supposed to do? You need to go and fix up. Basically.
That's what Zacharias was saying.
It's literally
well,
go and fix up.
That's a you problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna dim who I am or change who I am because this is it. You want me in the room, this is what you're gonna get, and you have to accept that that's what it is.
Exactly.
When you were talking about people with the burger situation and the bystanders, that's actually a thing called the bystander effect.
Ah, see,
I'm trying to get the definition of it, but essentially, bystander apathy, social psychological theory that states that an individual's likelihood of helping decreases when passive bystanders are present in an emergency situation, i.e., let's say someone's had burgers thrown at them. If somebody doesn't take the initiative, there's a higher percentage chance that no one's going to do it.
Yeah.
Like everyone is going to just assume, okay, it's not my job to get involved because no one's taking that one initiative. But because I remember seeing this as a test as well. It was actually at Liverpool Street. They had people who pretended to be injured and just on the stairs at Liverpool Street. Test one, where no one initiated anything. No one came for a while. And I think the third person that they had, one person came and all of a sudden 5 people around this person like, yo, are you okay? How can we help? How do we get involved? Because now you set the status quo of, oh, there's an emergency or, oh, something needs to be done. But a lot of people, I don't know, it's the courage thing you said, which is one thing. I think it is courageous to even be like, yo, if I see anything, I'm going to make sure that I stand in the way of that thing happening. But I also think it's a sheepish thing. Like, people, and I throw myself in here, like, can be very sheepish where it's like, unless we see something that stands out, we're just going to go about our day and just act like nothing's happening. Nothing in the peripheral, just tunnel vision, just keep going.
But I think it's also because we're slightly desensitized to these things now because
it's just a moment in time.
and we see it so much. That's why I almost, in a way, sometimes with my timeline, I don't want to see all this like trauma because I'm slowly becoming desensitized to it now. There's not that shock factor because that's what also ultimately what it should be. I should be shocked that someone's going to be treated like this in front of my face.
No facts.
But I have seen it from time to time again that I've almost learned how to just turn off from it. And that's not okay because ultimately, and it does go back to a very simple thing of just treat others the way you want to be treated. If that was me in that situation, I would be relying on the goodness of other people to intervene. And even like when I got my phone stolen, like, and fucking no one done a damn thing apart from this one man. And honestly, God bless this man, whatever he's doing. I promise he's going to be eternally blessed. That literally was like, oh, do you want me to cycle? But just that recognition, just that me feeling visible was enough. Like he didn't get he basically asked, do you want me to cycle and get the phone back? And in the end he didn't, but there was so much value in him just seeing me,
just acknowledging,
and being like, I'm gonna try, I'm on your side. I'm gonna try and I recognize that was wrong, and I'm on your side. And sometimes no one's saying that you can necessarily stop what's happening but just recognize. Do you know what I mean? Don't make people feel mad like, oh, am I supposed to is this supposed to happen to me, or like, do I not matter? Because
that's the thing. Because say with the burger as an example again, it's like you don't have to go and fight the person who threw the burger, but you can at least check on the person who got the burger thrown at them. Say, oh, are you okay?
Exactly.
Oh, is everything all right? Like, just that acknowledgement you said, innit? It's really important. Really.
And imagine this happened to Travis just because they were dressed in a certain way. Being their authentic self, walking down like a populated street in London, and someone else felt the entitlement, and I guess that almost like I could do whatever I want because you're dressed like this, and I could chuck this burger at you, and then nobody done.
No one's gonna do anything.
And then people seem to think that they've had nothing to do with the situation, but you have had something to do with it because you were there and you could have done something and you didn't. And as some people who might have been in that situation might have thought nothing of it, but now Travis has gone on to make a whole play about that because of how much of an impact that had on them. Like, are you... And even moments where that things have happened to me, and it's just, you could sometimes feel so alone in a place where there's so many people around you, but then you almost feel like, right, I don't matter. I basically don't matter, especially when you've done nothing. Like, you've just become a target for just being yourself.
No facts.
Same with like women just walking down the street being like, you're doing nothing. Like, you're actually just being. But it's because someone else has this level of, I don't even think it's the words entitlement that I'm looking for, but someone else feels like they could just act the way, however. And it's also, the more we kind of co-sign this, no one's going to do anything, it's a very dangerous territory to be in, because 9 times out of 10, people ain't like, sorry, I got distracted there. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, more people are going to stop doing certain behaviors when there's repercussions and when there's consequences. That's how you stop. And then that's also how you change attitudes, because attitudes take a very, very long time to change. But the way that you could start to change it is, okay, well, if I do that and now something negative happens, I'm not going to do that again, or I'm going to go about it a different way. Because I'm not saying you're going to shut someone down and now suddenly I've changed, but that repeated thing then your brain starts to think differently about 100%. Oh, actually I said something like that, I got a bad response, so I'm not okay, but why is everyone giving me a bad response? Oh, you know what, actually I could kind of see it would change it. So everyone has a part to play in this, on how we create these safe spaces for everyone to just be themselves, especially when people just no one's bothering you. Do you know what I mean? No one's actually bothering you.
That's the thing, innit? Because I think I've had this conversation with my sister once. So I was like, I genuinely am not racist or homophobic. And do you know why? Because I don't hold these horrible feelings. I don't hold these feelings of disgust or contempt for anybody else like that, where I'm like, to be that way, either you're just super, super, super ignorant and you don't know anything, or you really are holding on to something. Like hatred. Something that, but why? And again, that is that thing of, how really you being with yourself? Do you actually hate this, or do you hate something about yourself, or do you hate what it evokes in you? Exactly. Yeah, hatred is it's a funny one.
It's a sickness.
It is.
It's actually a sickness.
It is, to hold on to something that deep. I don't know.
But also to hate someone for an aspect about them that, one, has nothing to do with you, but also that they can't change. That's a sickness. That is actually a sickness that you need to go and deal with, because
it's a you problem.
It's a fucking you problem.
Yeah, it's you.
It's a you problem.
Just exists in the world.
Honestly,
might not even ever see them again.
It's ridiculous.
But if they can bring that level of rage and discontent for who they are and how it affects your way of perceiving the world so much, that's something you got to deal with.
Definitely.
Talk to someone about it.
Definitely. But also, we need to bash down these walls of these echo chambers where all these ignorant people come together and they're all like, you're not like, even just, and the thing is, even with podcasts, there's these echo chambers being created where people are just spouting out toxic views amongst each other, and it's all like, oh my god, I felt the same way. Firstly, just because someone might have felt the same way as you doesn't mean that it's okay. Right. Yeah, exactly. You might just be both tapped as each other. So, do you know what I mean? Like, but I think ultimately, because my mantra in life is, if you're not harming anyone and you're happy, then just live your best life.
Yeah, you're doing well. If you're happy and not harming anyone,
just live your best life.
Kudos, trust me.
Live your best life. Like, you got to just take it back. Like, are they harming anyone? Are they happy? Do your thing.
Do your thing, man.
Live your best life.
Go do your thing.
Oh God.
I can't be mad.
Hopefully we'll eventually get to a point, where people can just be
peace,
themselves.
love, and unity.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be one thing though. I do feel like we're slowly going to move. Like, if it's not, let's just say, even though I feel like it's going to take a long time for us to ever kind of quote unquote get out of racism or homophobia or transphobia, but then even if I did think we moved out of that, we as humans love to differentiate ourselves somehow. Like
I told you my theory.
Yeah, exactly. What was it about?
The blood types.
Yeah, blood types or eye color.
Yeah, it'll be something.
100%.
What was that woman's name? She did a test on the eye color one. There was a blue and brown eyes. I think her name might be Eloise or something like that. But how we choose to commit to this idea of I have to separate myself from this person, and because we've said this one is more valuable or they're getting treated slightly better, we're going to make sure that we hold on to this rather than saying, hang on a sec, why don't you just treat them as nice? It's just brown and blue eyes.
I know.
But we failed the test when we did it. Yeah, we will. We will, unfortunately.
Because it's a really interesting concept that I thought about recently is because at the Barbican they've got, but by the time this comes out, it should still be on an exhibition called Our Time on Earth, and it's all around like the climate emergency right now, but from a more of a twist that's like, it's not all doom and gloom. There are things that are being done.
Yeah.
And they kind of like throughout the exhibition, it's like looking at all these different, I guess, perspectives at what we could do to like almost imagining just how we can live in a way that is not at detriment to the natural earth. And there was one guy, I can't remember his name, but his kind of idea was, what if humans just lived in one part of the world, like the whole entire population lived in one part of the world, and then we almost just let the rest of the world just rest and like thrive and live, because really ones are fucking it up. But when I was told about this concept, I was like, that is so interesting, because do you think it's possible for us all to live in the same place? And then I think we're going to have to get over a lot of these isms and schisms.
Oh, 100%.
Because
100%.
Like, we're going to have, like, that's crazy. But then you think of the, like, human life to begin with. Like, we all came from one place, Africa.
Well, it's funny because even when you said we'd all be in one place, immediately in my head I'm like, so we'd all have to go to Africa. Because it's nowhere else.
Yeah,
it's nowhere else.
We have to return to the motherland,
and be a really interesting experiment.
That would be such an interesting, because I guess it is like we separate ourselves on again, like, where we've grown up, where we live.
Yeah, exactly.
All these things that I guess kind of become part of our identity.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you do then when you, I guess, even strip those bits away and it's like, right, you're all living here.
Yeah, you're all the same now.
Like, you're all gonna eat the same kind of thing. Yeah. Like, you're all gonna talk the same language.
That slightly though is almost like what Islam does effectively, where everyone learns the same language, i.e. Arabic, because you need to learn how to read the Quran.
Yeah.
Especially when it's time of pilgrimage, for instance, or even prayer, you usually wear the same sort of attire. Eat very similar foods because there's stuff that you can't eat or do eat. So that idea is actually being realized and practiced in different parts of the world. But I think from the environmental perspective, that's why I'm like, that would be super interesting.
So interesting.
It was like, all right, you're all here. You're all just on this part of land. Everything else has got 100 years before we can even touch it again. Just to see what happens. See like the actual impact we have, because as you said, it's not all doom and gloom. There's loads of stuff people do that helps the world and helps what happens naturally. But yeah, man, I don't know. That just spun me as like, what would that really look like?
Yeah, but I think the first thing we have to do is sort out our fucking issues with each other. Yeah,
bro, we all got to chat.
Like, if it's not gender, it's race. If it's not race, it's sexuality. If it's not
that, it's your age.
Can we fucking get it together?
Age is something else. Yeah.
Can we get it together? And the thing is, this is why I love the universe and the world, because if anything's going to give you a perspective check, it's going to be you reminded that actually you are living on a floating ball in this fuck off universe that apparently, I don't know whether you told me or someone else told me, but you just told me that like we could
they might have seen that we're like at the nucleus of this cell basically,
but you know, like that blows my mind. I literally my it's like my brain melts, like I can't wow, it's so much, but it's like there's so like it's like the world is bigger than us. Do you know what I mean? And that's why even when it comes to like people finding themselves or taking a moment, spend time with nature, because you get reminded that all this stuff in our heads, like all this other stuff, like we are natural beings first and foremost. We are connected to the natural earth, and sometimes it's like grounding yourself back in that like, okay, I could get caught up in the systems all this stuff that is basically manufactured, the artificial, all of that. But I think you return to yourself when you return to your natural self, and like us being natural. Because even if we look at clothes, we take all that, you know what I mean?
Like when it's sunny, where does everyone go?
The park.
Straight away. Straight to some greenery or water.
Or the beach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somewhere natural. You escape everything that people drive hours to get to the beach, in fact, because it's like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. A time to feel like how I really want to feel.
Yeah.
All of the stuff I've been doing has just been a way of just biding time until I get here.
Literally.
Because we're natural beings, man. Like, as soon as I touch grass, my shoes are off.
Oh, they're actually on today.
It's true. Do you know what? I'm in a different seat as well. Usually
you're over there.
So I think that's why, innit? Like,
yeah, this feels like your more filming seat. Normally you're over there. You've fucked up.
Should we restart?
No, we've actually we got to wrap this one up
anyway. Yeah,
but yeah, do you know what's interesting as well? I mean, there was also a concept in the exhibition, which I think that would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
Our Time on Earth Barbican Centre, £18 tickets. It's a bit expensive, I'm not gonna lie, because you know the question that I did think straight away, I said, oh, so is climate change only for rich people? Because we can talk about sustainable fashion and stuff like that, but why is it costing so much? Because at the end of the day, if you're a single parent household, or not even that, if you're a household with not much of an income and you got mouths to feed, it's all great that we could go and get this health fresh food, or we're gonna go to McDonald's and I'm gonna be able to
Planet Organic.
Exactly. It's so expensive.
That's why when what are they called, the people who sat on the motorway?
Insulate.
Insulate Britain. That was them. It wasn't hitting. Like, they weren't getting loads of support, but it was because it just felt like you lot don't have to be at work. You lot have time to go and do this shit. You lot are not talking on behalf of people generally. It's like, it feels so contrived. It felt like, we're gonna make an issue because we're the middle class people who this is our issue and this is our fight,
and we should tell you that this is what you should be worried about. However, at the same time though, I was like, I'm not a driver though, so I was like, you do your thing innit, glue your hands to the street, whatever you want to protest. But
it's more just, are you connecting with the people you're hoping hear what you're protesting about? Like, does this resonate? And from what I saw, it wasn't resonating. It wasn't.
And you know what, even with that, and I know we've got to wrap up as well. And obviously, like you said, a lot of white middle class people got time to go and do that, because it's like, the earth, the world. And it's like almost like, I know, but there's also been a fight that a lot of other people have been fighting for their lives, whether it's their sexuality, or whether it's the colour of their skin, whether it's their religion, whatever that is also as important to people. So the thing is, I get it on a scheme of things of like, well, this is our only earth. There's no planet B. There's no like,
this is it.
Yeah, exactly. This is it. And I know that. But also,
they are going to Mars though.
Listen, Interstellar.
Don't make it happen.
Interstellar. Anyway, my favourite fucking film. But I do see this classism in like certain concerns of what we should care about, because certain people have been fighting a fight every fucking day, and I wish I had the energy to glue my hands
jump on this one too.
I wish, but a part of this is all like, we're in survival mode, like what Divya was saying on a few episodes back. Like, we're in survival mode, and like when you're in survival mode, you're not really thinking straight, and it's deliberate. You're not, and it's this whole divide and conquer anyway.
No, facts.
Which just it's easy to manipulate people that don't see the greatness in if we all came together. Because
and embrace the differences.
Do you know what I mean? Oh my God. Because anyway, let me not get into my where's Robin Hood?
Stop.
But yeah, man.
But you're okay, so you're in recommendation.
Yes, is Our Time on Earth at the Barbican. It's very, I've gone to see it twice. I think I still need to go again and take it in, because I would say you need about an hour and a half in there, because there's so much.
There's a lot,
and there's like films to watch, there's like games and stuff. But it's very, and I do feel like also you do kind of need to be in that mind frame to take it in. There's a lot to take in, so I wouldn't suggest like rushing after work or something like that. Like really just plan your day, have a nice day, meditate in the morning, spend some time with nature, come down, maybe say hi to me if you're in the Barbican. But yeah,
Emily, I saw you on Unpacked.
Yeah, so that would be mine. So I've got one.
Okay, I got one too.
What's that?
My in recommendation is, it's actually the t-shirt that I'm wearing.
Okay.
It's a shout out to Bav, and I met Bav, who is the owner of If Not Now, which is the clothing, sustainable clothing. He's always in Coles Inn Yard. What's the one in King's Cross?
Oh, Coles Drop Yard.
Coles Drop Yard, sorry, yeah. He's got a stall there, and I think they do have a shop. I can't remember where that might be, but if you follow them at If Not Now,
okay,
yeah, dope clothing.
I'm gonna do this.
He does his own prints
because
as
I
well.
really like that top.
Yeah, this is nice.
I really like.
Usually I'm large, but the fact that I just like this so much, I'm just getting it. Like I want it.
I like this.
If Not Now, so at If Not Now, it might be ifnotnow.co or just If Not Now.
Because I will actually, yeah, I will, because that's actually the book I'm going to take out to Mexico with me, and I'm going to read, because I'm like, I feel very drawn to this book right now, and I feel like this is what I need for my break when I'm on the beach.
Yeah, when you're chilling on the beach, on the yacht.
I love it.
But yeah, big up Bav. He was another guy who I was just like, bro, I just love this t-shirt. Sick.
That's a dope. I love it, because also it's kind of like if you know that word, you
then
kind of like
like,
okay, you think a certain type of way.
That's what as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, let me see what else they've got here. But yeah, no, 100%. If you are in London or can get to London, Coles Drop Yard. Yeah, it's such a nice. Definitely with the sun coming out, that is a motive. I was just wandering around like, wow, it's a motive. Nice. But that's around the same area when we went to go and see Mansur Brown. Yeah, near Lafayette and all that kind of stuff. But I love that area. In the sun as well. It's so nice. Have a drink by the canal. That's it. You go for a stretch. I had a little date there. Go King's Cross. It's a good date place as well. It's nice. Have you done it? Hey. But no, it's dope. It's dope. It's dope. Okay, cool. Anyway, I've got to go and see some artists perform. Man. Go and support the gang. Yeah, I've got to go. Actually, Clips are going to go. Well, are you? Because you're busy. Sorry. Yeah, I'm always busy. You know what I mean? He's on at 6 actually, so we got to like. Oh, wow. I don't think it's, from where we are. Oh no, it's a shame. Eclipse, man. Next time. But I'm coming anyway. I'm coming. I'm going to see ya. We'll have a drink. All right. Anyway, guys, if you've been listening, thank you very actually, I say guys, let me change that because I'm trying not to use gendered language that much anymore. People, humans, can you subscribe? Yeah, please. Comment, like, share, please. On all of them. Thank you, guys. Okay, bye.